You wouldn't believe it. This girl dares argue with cops who mess up, ready to steal the show in new shoes. She heard some noise at the door, eagerly waiting for Dad like a flower, knowing he spent a fortune to get her into art high school. So she felt grateful for everything in front of her. The first day of school felt like stepping into a dreamland. But then, a few guys stared at her like an alien. She wore headphones, ignoring their shouting. One dude yanked off her headphones, claiming she was sitting in a throne, which looked like an invitation to battle. With her timid expression, she was clearly the star of the bullies at school. She just wanted a peaceful day without trouble. She sat next to the bespectacled girl as the hunk led newcomers to collect instruments. The arrogant rich kids fell short of the teacher's expectations. Sometimes someone would struggle to get on stage and barely pass, but when this girl performed, it was like she had cheat code. Her voice soared with the piano, seeming limitless. Everyone cheered. The teacher was impressed. When they heard she learned singing at her church, the audience gasped, and the rich kids looked ready to erupt like volcanoes. Sitting together, the glasses-wearing girl quickly befriended her. The girl felt sorry for her. She was part of the weaker crowd too. Seeing them hanging out together made the rich kids furious. The girl with big eyes felt the pressure and quickly tried to play it cool. But the girl was unafraid, pulling her friend's hand, growing more and more disgusted by the rich kids. Dad found the spot, proudly saying, "Despite my cerebral palsy, my daughter's exceptionally talented." The Yangzaji became her best buddy. They were practically inseparable, and the girl with big eyes genuinely thanked her for pulling her back. The school organized a field trip with an upperclassman who smiled brightly but glanced at the back row. The rich kids thought the upperclassman was loyal, but he glanced back. The girl froze as he smiled and looked down. A subtle change seemed to occur between the two. During the game, the rich kids purposely brought up the girl's father. The girl looked embarrassed, but the upperclassman saved it by giving her a drink as a punishment for not answering. The upperclassman gave a tiny smile, as if he knew something. The girl strolled by the lake, humming, having left the villa. As she prepared to practice by the lake, ripples formed, and the upperclassman gently appeared behind her. Her cheeks flushed slightly, but when she mentioned her dad again, the smile faded. She wanted to leave, but the upperclassman suddenly sped up and hugged her from behind. She just finished the kiss, but trouble followed. Recalling the upperclassman's background, she followed him into the grass. However, everything they did was clearly seen by another girl, who even whipped out her phone to capture all the evidence. The rival who had a crush on the upperclassman saw the video and instantly turned into a furious volcano, gripping her phone until her knuckles turned white. They dragged the girl with big eyes to the rooftop, and slaps rained down like confetti, demanding answers while first getting in a few hits for good measure. The rich kids didn't answer. They reveled in the humiliation before asking the question. They watched the lovers from afar, smug grins on their faces, while the girl with big eyes was left blooded and terrified. Just because of that fear, all the beauty seemed to vanish. The girl finished her chores, sang her way to the door, only to find a foot wedged in. Looking up, it was none other than the upperclassman who had pursued her. She couldn't help but chuckle while glancing around. Suddenly, a slap landed right on her cheek. Their smiling faces turned sour. It dashed the upperclassman's dreams to pieces. Because of this girl, she gave up the rich and handsome and didn't want to be a spoiled princess anymore. Time to face reality. "You scheming little girl, you totally pulled a fast one on me. How could you do this?" The girl tearfully explained she never wanted to climb up, only to be met with laughter. More slaps. She was going nuts. The upperclassman furiously smoked and blew it in her face. She coughed, choking on the smoke that clouded her vision, yet the upperclassman simply sized her up before yanking her over. "How did you know I'd do this?" She walked out as if nothing happened, followed closely by the gawking rich kids. Gazing at shadows on frosted glass, she felt weary and chose self-healing over calling the police. In the dead of night, she found the rich kid, sharing her thoughts. She just wanted to study, not drama. But the rich kid looked incredibly defiant, clearly planning to give her a hard time. "Are you out of your mind?" What a waste. The girl initially didn't want to argue, but when the rich kid mentioned her dad's name, a flood of thoughts crashed over her. Memories of her father being bullied constantly surged through her mind, and whenever she thought of this, she no longer felt vulnerable because her father occupied an irreplaceable and most precious position in her heart. The two started tugging on each other's hair. She considered having a peaceful resolution, but the other had schemed against her dad. Each and every slap she delivered served as a stark warning to the wealthy heir, and with that, she finally released her hold. Standing tall in front of the rich kid, she saw no fear in his eyes, only full of resentment as he lounged on the bed. The girls were asked to commit perjury. Shockingly, her best friend was caught in the mix. "I'm her father, Soo-jong. You're all here because you were caught and had no choice but to stay." "Absolutely, it's all true. You absolutely have to help me." The situation escalated due to the wealthy family painting the girl as a villain. The Ami could have spoken up for her but chose to stand on the wrong side. The girl stayed calm, accepting any punishment. Dad knew her true self, begging school board for mercy.